Sorry. Okay. So good morning. I think it's the camera's just starting. So like I said, if you can, go ahead and turn on your camera just so that I can see you take attendance. Good morning, Natalia. And go. But I know that as cameras, the more cameras on, the slower sometimes the signal will be. So going to do that. So if you can hear me, go ahead and turn your camera on. I'm going to take since you are on, I can go back and look at attendance. Good morning, Christian. Hey, you know what? There's some ways that you could give love to your professors. And I'm going to tell you one thing that you could do. Please upload a picture to your profile. It helps me a lot to know who you are, especially when you text me or call me. It's helpful for me if you text me, tell me what class you're in and your name. And if and usually when I go into my role in a computer, my roster, I usually look and see who the picture is. So appreciate if you could do that. Gives me a lot of love, just that little thing. And you want to be seen, right? You don't want to have this shadow. So anyway, good morning, everyone. I'm still trying to get to know everyone. And sometimes it's difficult because I cannot connect what I said to Natalia versus who I said to someone else. So I hope that over time and over different classes that you'll take with me, that I get a chance to know you. Okay. So right now we have 12, which I know that there's should be more, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. So first thing, some housekeeping, just some announcements for the morning. I know that not everyone has their book. So I will work with you for the next week or two because there's actually new students being added to the course as well. So I will do my best. What I do want to let you know is that I have been reading your messages to me. I'm trying to troubleshoot that with the faculty support because some of the access as a new professor, I believe that not all the settings are set up. So if you need to retake the quiz or take the quiz and it's not allowing you to take it, I need to have access so that I can adjust that. Actually, right now, I'm still trying to figure out how to grade them, but I don't want that to stop our class. We're just going to go ahead and move forward so that we can stay on track with our chapters. You continue to do what you need to do. The syllabus, I do want you to go in and download the syllabus. The syllabus will show you what chapter, what exercise you need to do. So regardless if you are able to submit it in or not, at least you can get the work done. And as things open up for me to be able to extend that link for you to upload, I will do that. So all those logistics for classes, I know it gets stressful. And if you don't hear from me, it's hard for you to continue on. But I just want to let you know that as a professor, I've been a student. I'm still a student. I'm finishing up my doctorate. I know you guys have things to do. We all have things to do, right? So what's important to me is that you get the most out of this class. You're not going to get everything because it's so much information in 8 weeks. One of the things that I think I stated this in my last class with you. I had to recognize that at the end of this class doesn't make you an accountant. It doesn't. Even accountants have to go back and learn and as things changes, they have to get used to and learn more. So I, as a professor, will give you as much as I can during the time that we have. That doesn't mean that it will give you everything, because you're not able to retain so much information in that period. And I'm sure this is not the only class you have, right? So that's the realistic of it. So we're going to enjoy it, because you know what I found as a student? I was already an adult coming back, just like all of you. I realized, nice car. I can't even pronounce your name. Jim? Okay. So I realized that when I was a student, I did better when I was engaged in the class. I could hear things that I could relate to my life. or things that I see, and that I enjoy it. When I'm stressed out, when it's too much, when you feel like you're drinking a fire hose, you're not going to be able to retain. Maybe you'll retain it for the quiz, but you're not going to be able to take it and apply it. And to me, taking it and apply it and knowing what you know and knowing what you don't know makes a total difference, because the learning process never ends. Just because my class ends doesn't mean you stop learning about this, right? So you're always going to be able to move on and learn. So that's important to me. So as you remind me of attendance or quizzes, I'm going to get to all of that. It's difficult to, like when you get a new phone, like sometimes can't even turn on the phone because you don't know how to turn the phone on. So I just wanted to take a moment. If you haven't already, take a deep breath. And then we're just going to have some fun in this class. We're going to talk about some technical things because this class is really technical. And I don't always like technical. That's why I love financial analysis. Financial analysis allows me to take the information that the accountants organize in a certain particular way so that I can make decisions and read the financial statements and know where the company is. Are they over leveraged? Do they have too much debt? Do they not have enough cash coming in, right? But all those transactional things when you credit and debit, I mean, those make the report. So it's important that we understand how the numbers flow through, but it's also understand how to use them. And to me, that's more important, how to use them. Because as you go on, you'll probably have an accountant, a bookkeeper help you in your business, but it's always good to know what they're doing, right? That's better management when you can understand where they're going through, especially when you get to the point where you could correct what's going on. So give me 1 second here. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and let me step away real quick. And I have 13 of 21. Okay, I think that's majority of the class. Okay, so let me go ahead and I'll be right back here. I'm just going to grab my coffee real quick. We're going to have a conversation. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with the question. Okay, my question, so you can think about it for a couple minutes, is if you had thought, and I know you're all business students, which I love, when you think about starting a business and you're going to find a partner, tell me some of the things that you require of your partner. Okay, so hold that thought, think about that, and I'll come back. All right. Okay, so I wanted to kind of start a little bit backwards because honestly, my first class that we had last week, I was just kind of cruising in, trying to get comfortable. So I hope that today and every class that we have, I'd be more and more comfortable with knowing you and being able to answer questions for you. So, okay, let's see here. All right. Okay, so I posed a question for you, and I wanted to talk about, take a step back, and let's not worry about accounting right now. Let's talk about life. Accounting is a big part of our life. Sometimes we don't want to admit it, but as money flows, it is a big part, and it could be a very stressful part. And it could be a relationship killer, right? You guys agree? So my question to you is that as you are thinking about starting a business, well, let me ask you this. Who here has already had a business previously? You can raise your hand over using your no hand thing. I have, so I'm going to raise my hand. Mohammed, you've had a business? Okay.
Yeah, I have a business. I
Still?
had a business. Yeah, no,
All the
I had a business. Sorry, I had
business?
like yeah, own business.
Okay. And how long did you have it?
Um, about a year or two, maybe almost 2 year.
Okay. That's a fairly short period of time for a business for 2 years.
Yeah,
Was it just you, or did you have as big as having employees?
no, it's just me and my partner. He was my colleague.
Mm-hmm.
We started an import export business from China. We used to buy was phone accessories and sell
Mm-hmm.
them. But yeah, unfortunately, COVID hit, and then we stopped it. We had to stop.
Yeah, I bet. COVID is interesting as far as it exacerbates what your weaknesses are already, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Good. Well, just for the short information that you just told me about your business, you are a merchandise. So that means you had inventory
Yes.
and you had to put that money up front. You had to buy the product first, or did China give you an invoice that you can pay over?
Yeah. We had to invest, like me and my partner. We
Mhm.
invested money and then bought a lot of goods, and then yeah,
Okay.
we we, we stored them and went to retail markets.
Okay. So tell me about your partner as far as what did you learn about it? Was this your first partnership that you had?
Yeah.
Okay. How did that go? Did it go
I mean,
well? Did it go, was it difficult?
yeah. At that time, it was my first business, but he was like already experienced guy, and he was like trustworthy, and I spent it like almost two or like I spent it with him 5 years total with the business. But before that, we used to work together in a sales field. So he. I knew him and I saw his trustworthy, and he had like good idea. He's enthusiastic and diligent guy. So I started business with him. I had investments, so yeah, we went in, and I liked about him. He was like focused in every single thing, in numbers, in inventory, and everything.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I'm so glad you had a good partnership.
Yeah,
Sometimes it starts there first, right? Doesn't even,
and
guys,
now,
the crazy thing is not even about the business idea. Sometimes it's the people you work with makes the business. So,
yeah, after that, after COVID, I applied for US and I got approved, and I came here. But he started another business with a different guy, and it's going good. It's like a bookshop, like stationery item.
okay. Anyone else have a business? Think about your business because I'm going to ask about what are some of the requirements that you want to see in a partner.
If we want to check a partner, we external like users, we need financial information about him, or usually his financial information to check how his business is going.
Yeah. I always like to phrase it as our relationship with money, right? Because sometimes it's a love-hate relationship. Sometimes it's really good and sometimes it's not, right? It's an influx because money does not create the stress, but the attachment of the money creates the stress. And one of the things that we can apply accounting to that is that when things are clear, things are have expectations, then you have a framework to work with. And I want you to think about the financial statements that accounting feeds into is just that. It's an accountability where those who will need to understand and see could make sense of it. Because if you keep everything inside your head, and when you want to express it, it's not as easy, especially when you need it. Myself as a banker, I always tell my clients, borrow money when you don't need it, because it's much easier. It's like trying to find a job when you have a job, right? But when you need the money and you go and you apply for it, the bank's going to assess your risk based on your financials. And usually if you need money, it's because maybe you need cash flow. There's your equipment breaks down. Rather than taking it in a sense of like, when I need it, I'm going to get it. You have to be able to use your financial statements in a strategy to position yourself, okay? And I've seen many businesses where they don't track it very well because maybe they're a business owner. They're good in sales. They're good in what they do. They're not good in the numbers, though you hire someone, because it's so important for you to tell your business story through your financials, okay? But at the other sense, you also have to understand is that the numbers is sometimes for others to see. You know what your business is going through, right? But to be able to express it in a way where people understand it so they can step in and help you or step in and partner with you. But understanding that the partnership and what the value of it is really important. I'll tell you a story related to that. I'm going to try to take a break, give you guys a break, in every 45 to 50 minutes so that we can, take a stretch out and we'll shift different topics. But I had a business in Seattle. It was a good business. It was a business where we met. It was a food business. So we had certain food regulations that we had to meet. We provided a commercial kitchen space where all caterers had to be a part of in order for them to legally sell food. In the United States, we have these food regulations, food permits, that you have to be a part of a commercial kitchen in order to make food and sell to the public. You can't make it at home. If you make it at home, usually you're not following or you're making it, I'll just use the word, not proper. Okay. Well, we had that business and I had a partner. The reason why we partnered because of timely, and we didn't vet the partner very, very well. When I moved down to San Diego, understandably, they were very upset. But because of my family situation, I had to move down to San Diego. Now, the problem was that I was far away. I didn't know the accounting. And our business, because it's food, it's going very fast. Every day it's going very fast. And so by the time that I realized I need to sell my partnership, my half, there was no accounting that was done since the time that I left. So how do you value the business? A lot of times businesses value the business based on the income that's coming in, or they value based on the asset that the business hold. Now for this business, we leased it. So we didn't own the building, we paid the landlord. So that was a heavy fixed cost for us already. And the only thing that we had was equipment, which was a restaurant equipment. We had 5,000 square foot of equipment space. So that had a lot of value, but with anything else in equipment, just like a car, the depreciation, we bought that, let's just say oven for 10,000. As soon as you hook it on and it's considered not new anymore, you probably lose about 30%. And if you did use it for about a year, your depreciation goes down to $5,000, right? So what you paid on your balance sheet shows 10, but now on the books, when you're ready to sell, there's a depreciated cost of only $5,000. So understanding this is very difficult for an owner who's supposed to receive or selling that, but it's also difficult for the one who's buying it because, we're haggling on price, right? But long story short, the heartache that came through that is in the accounting process of being able to track, because I couldn't go either way, whether we go off of revenue or whether we go off of fixed asset. So I tell you that because in any relationship you step in, especially when it comes in with numbers and money, you have to be clear in your expectation. That's why we learn this accounting, so that when you see how the numbers are being tracked to come in, you have to make a decision on when it comes in, how are you going to label them? Because there is a rule on how you want to categorize them through the GAAP, General Accounting Acceptable Practice. But then there's also what I call the cultural rule. What's the cultural rule? The rule within the business that you've decided, okay? But there's a challenge to that. In Seattle during those years, it was very hard for us to acquire labor. We had 3 food trucks, we had and all these other businesses that was part of our kitchen. We couldn't do it ourselves, so we had to hire employees. But during those years, I think it's still the case right now for small employees, so for a small business, is to hire good work. Now, Seattle is a very high-tech city, so a lot of the labor that was in the market was being hired to software companies, Amazon, So when we compete with labor, we didn't have much of a pool. So the ones that was left over, so let's just say, I mean, even if we think about it, would you want to get paid, let's say $17 an hour to work in a kitchen, or would you rather pay $17 an hour to work in an office, right? There's this idea of which one is more work, right? So when that happens, we have to come to the reality is that we had to hire the ones that usually want cash. Okay. Does anybody want to know why the government doesn't want us to use cash?
Because to track your activity, to track how you pay for everything.
Tax?
To get the
Just not to hide the income.
Right. The IRS has a convenient rule for them, is that you by law have to claim all 100% of your income, but your expenses, but you don't have to claim all your expenses. Very convenient. How convenient for you that you want to know all my income, but you don't have to know all my expenses. Because the more the expenses, the less the income, right? So when you think about the accounting equation, well, what happens is when you pay cash on the books, it doesn't exist. So it's going to show that you made more income, right? So you have this beautiful spreadsheet or this beautiful financial statement. It shows that you've made money this year. But you're like, I haven't gotten a paycheck, the life of a business owner is that all your employees and everybody else gets paid first, right? I don't know. I've been there. I've been there that I've been the last to pay, or if I get paid, or whatever's left over, I get paid, right? So what do? When your financial sheet shows you made money, but you really didn't, what do? Anyone has own business? I'm trying to still look at your names and try to be able to, hi, Santiago. Let's see. Anyone? What do when your financial sheet shows you made money and you actually didn't?
Reinvest the business?
But you don't have the money.
Just cheating.
Frank. When your financial sheet shows you made money, but you actually didn't.
You put it on expenses, maybe? No.
You
But
try.
you already made, well, it shows you made money, but you really didn't, right? Because you have an expense that doesn't exist, which is labor. Because usually if you pay them correctly, legally, there should be this offset, right? So when you go into some of the principles of business is that if you don't make money, you shouldn't exist. What do you guys think? Do you think that's a true statement? If you have a business that's not making money, do you have a business?
No.
Or you
No, that's a
will.
true
No.
statement.
Your business should be profitable.
You said that's a true statement. I love that. That is a true statement. I don't know who said that, but that is so true.
I said it.
Who? Mohammed?
Yeah.
Why, Mohammed? Why you say that?
I mean, if you don't have money, I mean, if you don't have business, you don't have money, right?
Well, let me pose something for you guys to think about. If you want to make money, the question is, well, let me say it this way. I have many students because I love hearing your ideas. I love like, hey, I have this business idea, or I want to do this or do that. I love hearing it. But when I listen to it, and after you're done explaining to me, I'm going to ask you this question. Do you want to make money or do you want to build a business? Because they're not always the same.
Build
Some
a
businesses
business.
make money. What's that?
Build a business.
Because building a business doesn't always come with money. Doesn't always mean that you're going to make money. So my always question with your ideas, whatever it is that you're thinking about right now, or whatever that you see yourself doing, I'm going to do you a favor and have you ask yourself, you don't have to explain to me, is that do I want to make money or do you want to have a business? Okay. Sometimes they're the same. Sometimes businesses make money. But the minute that you combine those, we have stress. Because there's easier ways to make money, you guys. And it's not always easy to make money through a business. It takes time. And it takes execution. I have a saying that I say, businesses don't fail. The execution of your business fails. And I have many examples of how businesses start up unconventionally, but they made money and they slowly build their business. That's almost like a foolproof, a low risk. So if you want to be able to have low risk in your business, you have to be able to be flexible in how you execute it. It may not look fancy in a way where, oh, I'm going to lease a nice building, a nice space. Because when you do that on the accounting side, you have a fixed debt now. You have a fixed cost. Whether you collect $1 or not, you can still pay that $5,000 landlord bill, right? And so be able to look at your accounting and look at and say, okay, what are some of my expenses that I have to have? And what are some of the expenses that I choose to have as your first step when you're starting a business? Why is this so important for me? I mean, we're going to go into the chapter materials, but guys, I've worked with businesses. I read their financial analysis. I've been a business owner, and it's not easy. Why is it not easy? Is because when we don't understand some of the fundamental decisions that you make before you do the business, it creates stress. And sometimes you think, oh, my business failed. I'm not good in business and stuff. That's not, I don't know if that's true or not, but I know that there are certain results that could be mitigated. Okay. So think about that as far as when it comes to the accounting. The accounting comes secondary to it. The accounting tracks the decisions that you make and how you are able to make a record. Okay. Any thoughts on that? Anything you, I love it when students don't agree with me, don't agree with me. Tell me what your thoughts are. I'm learning with you. I want to learn from you. And I'm just sharing with you my experience through academic learning and through real experience life. Okay.
Is it possible, for example, I don't know, everyone, for the first time, everyone wants to have money, usually. They create a business because they want money.
Mhm.
And for example, if you, in the beginning, is it possible to change the line? For the first time, you just earning and have money, and then you trying to explode your business and you follow the business line.
I don't understand your question, Natalia.
You say that we need to understand if we want to have money, like to earn money, or
Mhm.
we want to have a business. But looks like both these questions can be separately.
Right. Mhm.
And
For example,
yes, as example, I don't know, maybe like McDonald's case. For the when they start the business, they just want to earn money. But then you investor come in and decided that it's not just they don't want to have this amount of money.
Mhm.
He wants to explode the business and started, for example, to buy the land. And looks like in the end, now they have everything. They have a big business and they have money.
Mhm.
And what the I don't know what the difference which people should decide. Like for example, you can earn just the money if you don't want to exposure. If you want a big business, you can just earn money. Or you from the first time should think that you want money and you want business. How to follow? Which line is follow from the beginning?
So you're saying it's kind of like the chicken, right? Does the egg come first or does the chicken come first, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my explanation is you kind of have to have both, right? It's really not a choice to choose from when it comes to the chicken or the egg. It's just whatever life gives you first is what you go with. Okay. So when you have a business, let's say you have a business idea, as you just gave it to me, right? And I said, okay, well, you can't just tell me. I want you to give me a pro forma. What are you selling? How much is your markup? Based on your market analysis, how much do you think you'll sell, right? And you do all of that for me, and I'm like, okay. So as an owner, we know that we're probably gonna have to, in the beginning, we're gonna have to work more hours, right? So when you factor all of that in, Natalia, and I'll okay, so you're gonna get paid based on your pro forma, you're gonna get paid $13 an hour because you got all this expenses and stuff and factoring your time in there, right? So then I'm gonna ask you, do you want to build this business? Because maybe we have a plan. Maybe it's just the first strategic phase of building this business. Maybe because Professor Fern, because I need to work hard to build a supply chain. I'm just making this up as I go. Building a supply chain, and I'm going to work hard this next year. Okay, just like Amazon, they put so much money in their infrastructure. For years, they didn't really make money. They just reinvested it. But so if you tell me that, I'm like, okay, that makes sense to me. But again, going back, like if you need to make money now, you can go outside and get a job for like $20 an hour. If you didn't really explain to me, like, I'm just working hard, I'm willing to not get paid for the first year because I have this other job or I'm gonna have savings, So then that means that you're going to build a business. So you're willing to take that on. The reason why it's so important to set these things up when I'm consulting with businesses or new ideas is because I want to ask all these questions so you don't put pressure on the business. Think of a business as like your organism. that you're going to grow, right? Of course, business naturally has to grow. But as soon as you start and you don't think these through, you're like, oh, the business went bad. I mean, there's circumstances like COVID, but if you start at first, you should be able to pivot. You know, you make the business an excuse why it didn't do it. But in actuality, it is you who made the executions for those decisions. So I would propose to you, Natalia, if you want to make money, so if you want to make money or build a business, because I'm going to tell you, you can make money. You can just go work for someone for $20 an hour. You actually don't have to think 24 hours a day. Now you're telling me you're going to build this business, you're probably going to get paid $13 an hour, maybe, but you're going to spend working on it 24/7, right? So that is the idea of when you start a business, to really set those expectations. And then when you start with that, the accounting system comes in as your foundation to track this. Oh, professor, instead of $13, I actually ended up making $20. So now you're equal, right? It's so many times I see people execute their business idea with no data, haven't considered how much time, because if you start a business and you're making money for the first few years and you're not able to grow it or branch off of it, or you're working in the business and not on the business, how many times have you guys heard of people talking about working in the business and not on the business? You know what that means? Someone explain to me what that means. I'm working on the business. I'm working in the business and not on the business. Anyone?
It means you work for a business and you work in your business.
Okay. You're working
Is it right?
in business and not on the business, right?
Yeah, you work for yourself, or you build your business, or you build someone else's business.
You could interpret that.
Maybe
Anyone
that working for a business, you're working like an employee, and
Mhm,
the second part, you like the owner of the business.
mhm. Well, for the majority, when you say I'm working in my business and not on my business, usually for new businesses, you have to do both. You're working on it and you're working in it. But when you're working in it, you pretty much are considered the employee of the business, right? So you have a job. When you can work on the business, usually be able to step back, make plans, build a 2-year plan, build a 3-year plan, build a new product, then you're working on your business to help it move forward and grow. When you're working in the business, is you're doing usually the operation, the everyday. Okay. And it's okay that you're working on that. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but you do have to know that in order for you to scale up or make it, you have to be if you're the owner, you need to be able to work on the business, because you have to make some decisions that your employees don't make. Okay. Like hiring, adding new product, leveraging, maybe going out to get some debt to invest in your business for better equipment, for faster. So there has to be a plan to work yourself out of a job so you can hire that person. So it helps you understand all of this, what I call the business life, because it translates into your accounting. You can look at your accounting numbers and see where you're at. And your accounting financial statements paints the picture of the business. And sometimes those accounting statements doesn't paint the picture that you want for the business, which is okay, as long as you understand it and then you're moving direction to where you do want it. Okay. But so many times when we don't understand that, we feel stuck and you're just making enough. Okay. I would even dare to say you're not making as much as if you just went outside, got a regular job, you work 8 hours making the same, or you work 80 hours and making less. Okay. The foundation thinking about what I'm saying is that be able to understand your business structure and how you set up your business so that you do eventually have a plan to build a business. Doesn't always have to start that way. But the very first question that you need to ask yourself in the beginning is just that. Am I wanting to make money or am I wanting to build a business? It sets up an expectation in your own self so that you know what the path that you're coming down to. Heck, I want to see you build a business and make money right away, right? The things that come after that. And usually that's not the norm. The norm is that if you have an idea, it takes a lot of heartache, sweat, work, hours, and even your own money to put in. Okay. So I have a question for you guys. And you each can answer it, unmute and answer. Okay. If I told you that I would pay you $1,000 and you did all of the work. Okay. Or would you rather get paid $100 and do less work? Which one would you pick? Make more and do all of it, or do less and make less?
From the beginning, maybe first one, but a little, like, as my understanding, you can't do everything. You just need to, like, usually if we're speaking about workers, we have a special amount of things we need to do, and it's good idea maybe to pay less for example, for 2 or 3 people, than to have a pressure and all work like done by one, because it looks like a pressure. Because if the person you pay to this person a lot and he do everything, when, for example, he quit, you have nothing, and maybe you will not find a person who can make everything which previous one done for the same price. Maybe it's good to choose the second things in this case, to do less.
I don't understand what you're saying. So would you pick the 1,000 and do everything, or would you pick the 100 and do less?
For me, I chose the first one, but maybe for someone will be.
You take the 1,000 and do everything?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, for me, it depends on the job. If it's doable, I would take the 1,000.
Okay, and do all. Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else would choose something different? Anyone else that would choose the $100 and do less? I would pick the $100 and do less.
For me, I will pick the $100 and try to make it 1,000.
How?
Uh, invest my understanding about business.
Professor, I think if you take $100 job, if you finish it in just a short time, you can get another job. Yeah, I think that's the idea.
You think you know? Hey, sometimes this is our life, you guys. These are like real decisions, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I will take the $100 every time. Let me tell you why. We all have only, no matter how, I remember someone, a speaker share with me, no matter how rich or poor, how young or old you are, you will always have 24 hours in a day, right? So the idea around being able to do 100, the real quote is the real question is make $1,000 and do everything, or make $100 and do nothing. But see, I don't believe there's anything that you do nothing and get. So I always have to add like do less, right? More or less is relative. So I always say, would you rather make 100 and do less? Because I just don't believe there's anything that is easy, like easy money. Now you can find something that is simple, but simple is not easy, right? So I would choose simple every time. But the idea of 1,000 or 100 is your time, right? So if I do everything for 1,000, I know I've capped out at 1,000, right? That's all I can make. But if you do 100 and do less, or let's say do nothing, I can go and replicate that 10 times, and now I'm making 1,000 and still doing less. Make sense? So this is a mindset thing that you need to think about. And it attaches to who you are as a business, right? So it's different when it's in the beginning of the business and you're at this critical mass period where like, okay, I need to work because if I don't do this, then I'll be in a negative, right? Because businesses have to make money, otherwise why do you exist? But understanding that you always have to be changing and scaling. Can't do everything. I've seen business owners that do everything and have like impacts their health, get a stroke, and then now they have nothing, right? Because they can't do anything. So it's really important to understand these concepts when it comes to stepping into a business, because I want to see your business succeed. I want to see it successful. But it comes to these kind of questions to be able to find where you are, and you can execute the decisions that come with it. And honestly, like I said, accounting is a technical side that comes through it, right? But because we understand the process, you will ask like, okay, why is your labor so high this quarter? And you didn't bring in much money. You brought in the same amount of money as last quarter, but your expenses are so high. As long as you can always see the pattern and see the flow of money, what we call the footprint of where it went, then you're in good condition, because we can always change if there's an error or maybe there is a loss. You can navigate it back into the positive or correct the issue. When you are blinded by not understanding the footprints of your financials, when it comes to a business, you can't track it. You would be living in the idea of, this is great, I'm making money, but are you really? Okay. There's two sides to understanding this. Let me tell you, just because a business, when you walk in and there's tons of customers, that doesn't mean they make money, guys. And just because you come in and you see the business kind of slow, doesn't mean that they're not making money. Okay. So I'll leave you with that. I wanted to just share this first hour with what's in my heart and what I specialize in and what I love to do. And then we'll talk about accounting. Okay. But this should get you excited about learning accounting, because it is the footprint of the money, right? And one thing that I say about accounting is that although you learn the principles of accounting, how it should be reported, the credit, the debit, yeah, they're all important. But at the end, what I find that's most consistent, the most helpful, is that be consistent. If you're going to call this a debit, then don't start calling something else, because then the record is not correct. Then what you want me to look at is not accurate. And if we're making decisions off of inaccurate information, you will have an inaccurate decision, an inaccurate result. Okay. So I will end our first hour with that. And I will give you guys 15 minutes to to stretch your legs, go get something, and then we'll come back at about 10:15. All right? And I want you to think about what I said. I love to engage in conversation with you. Push back on me, like, that doesn't make sense. Why would you think that? And so we're in a community of learning. You guys are all adults, have jobs, had businesses. I love hearing from you. Okay. And together we're going to, talk about this accounting and assignments and all that stuff, which is all important too. But this is the most important part. Okay. All right. So let's give you guys 15 minutes. Be back here about 10:15. You can log off, log back on. I don't know. Let me see. How do I, gosh. Hang on. I'm going to have 24. Okay, I'm just going to do a screenshot of who is logged in right now. Trying to tell you, I'm going to do old fashioned way. Sometimes you just like a camera and take a picture of that, and then I'll figure out all the roster thing later. But all right. I'll see you guys in about 15 minutes. All right. Have a good break. All right, guys. I don't know who's back. I just started a poll. See what you guys think. Santiago, looks like you're in the class, right? You're in the office, or are you
Yeah, here.
here? How's the fires up there, you guys? Is it? I heard there's a few more new ones. Is that true? The news said that there's a few more new ones.
Yeah, I heard there is new ones, but I think like the bigger ones are like getting a little bit like contained. So
Oh,
let's
that's
hope it stops soon.
Mhm. Those of you that just coming back, I just started a poll, just interested in how my class feels about this question. Can go ahead and there's not a right or wrong answer, okay? So you don't think about it too much. I'm just trying to figure out if I like you more or less. And Talia, does the poll show up? How does the poll show up for you? Because Christian's the only one that answered, so I don't know if you see him.
No, I'm not seeing a poll.
You see the poll?
No.
Yeah, I already voted. There's a poll in activities.
Oh, in activities. Okay. Mohammed, did it pop up for you to see, or you had to go into activities?
You go into activities. It pops up. It pops up when
Yes,
you
ma'am. I got the
post
poll.
it. Just it pops up for 3 seconds, then it just
Oh,
disappears. So you
oh,
have to go
really?
to
Okay.
activities and then just click on the poll and vote for.
Okay, everyone, go into the activities. We should have 26 answers. For those that are here, at least. All right. We're going to get into our chapter content. So for week one, you did chapters 1 and 2. But most of the exercises that I saw was all in chapter 1. Okay. So let me repeat. I'm just repeating it so it's a reminder to myself. I am still trying to figure out how to access the quiz to grade and whatnot. They sent me a tutorial, but I need to have the tutorial and Moodle in front of me so that I could do that. So don't want you guys to worry about it. Just move on. Move on to this to week 2. And if I need to do any cleanup, I'll return and get all that going.
Yeah, Professor. I don't think we can answer the discussion questions, so I only do the assignment, the
Okay.
quiz assignment. Yeah.
There's questions? What do you mean? So the discussion question, I think it's, I'm not used to being your work submitted in a discussion, especially if you have something to upload. So I will talk to the academic team about that.
Yeah, I don't think we can answer it on
We-
discussion post.
Looks like you maybe it helps because when you go to discussion, you need to you will have a line inside will be the question, and then the small on the button on the right side. Because it looks like even if you post it, you can check your answer. It works. Quiz not working now after the week is end, but for the questions you still can make it. And maybe Fern, for you one question, because I saw that I can't attend the quiz, and it's like marked like late attempt. And if you want to reconnect to it, like if you want to go through this quiz, when you can manage this, it looks like the total amount of grades will be lower because it's late attempt. As I saw previously, it was 100 points. And now, because this is a late attempt, it will be 60. How, maybe you know how it works. For example, if you have, like, if you allow us to make it later, how these points will be calculated? It will be 60, like now in Moodle, or it will be 100, like was previously? Because I'm not sure in this. I'm not sure if I'm not mistaken in this one.
Well, I am sure that I can come in and adjust that once I have access to that. I want to clarify so that I understand that you are, I'm going to ask the question, but it's under a discussion, which means discussion means that there's people answering and answering, right? Discussion. But the work that is assigned is really just the exercise. So you could do it. I see students being able to upload a document.
But it's, maybe I'm mistaken, but it's online quiz. It should be done. This is the first week. It's online. You have 30 minutes to go through this, and it's only online. I saw that you can add the information, but I can't find the question to like.
So there's
to
no
make
question. So there's no question. If you open up your syllabus, it says discussion 1, do exercise. I think it's like exercise 1, 6A is the first one.
I think it's located in the book, the questions.
Yeah, the questions are in the book. That's why you need it. That's why I'm thinking that if you don't have the textbook yet, you don't necessarily able to do your works, which is fine. Like I said, this is just trying to figure out who has what. But when you go into your Moodle, if you open up the syllabus, it will have the list of questions available there for you.
For discussion question, I already sent both because it's 2-part, but also
yeah, there's discussion 1 and 2, but both discussion 1 and 2 are exercises.
Yes,
right?
I made them, yes, but then it should be, it's, it looks like in the end of the lesson, it looks like first one lesson activity, and this is discussion question. It's 2 from the book, and then lesson 1 assignment. It's online quiz. I can send
online quiz. Perhaps okay, I'll figure out the online quiz, but the online quiz, if it needs an extension date, I can just adjust the date. So, but going back to, let's figure out week 1, but let's move forward to week 2. Like week 2 right now, when I let me see if I can share my screen here real quick. Okay, for your activity, I just want to do, I'm using my poll as a question, as a roll call. I only have 8. So if you've not go in to answer the poll, go ahead and do that, because right now, to me, there's only 8 students in here, and I don't think so. I mean, I know there's more of you, so go ahead and do that as I figure this out.
Excuse me, Professor, what do we have to do? Could you please repeat?
Can you go into your Meet? There's an activity. It looks like there's a triangle, square, and a circle. At least that's what mine looks like. If you go in there, there's an activity, there's a question I pose in there, you just need to pick one or the other. Okay, so let me go to share. Okay, you should be able to see my screen. I don't know exactly if you see the same thing I'm seeing, but
Yeah.
do you see the syllabus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So finally, the syllabus has my name on it. Last week, it didn't even have my name. So this should give information that you need about the class if you haven't already. Nothing's really changed other than my information, but now it has my phone and my email there for you. So for the ones that are having issues with this, I'm just scrolling down into your assignments. Sorry about that. It's kind of slow.
And the end of the lesson 1 should be.
Right. So here's lesson 1, right?
Yeah.
Here's the activity, the lesson activity, which is discussions. So you see this in the discussion list.
Yeah, we saw it. We have it. Activity discussion. It's like DS1, DS2, and we can post. And we can post the answers. And because inside the required some balance sheet or something like this, we can add the PDF file.
Okay. So
yeah, it's working.
So you're fine with that. I think this is discussion 1.
Discussion 1 and discussion 2, because in the first one, chapter 1 exercises, and then second comprehensive problem, it also looks like you need to make a spreadsheet and put all the information according to the exercise. And we can post it in the discussion, like it looks like we post.
Instead of you posting, I prefer you put it on a document and upload it. Why? Because sometimes when you post, all your lines and all your cells may not post the same correctly. So I'd rather have you put it on whatever document, Excel or whatever, however you're doing your assignment on, just create it into a document, either a document or a PDF, and upload it. Because I see some that you're posting it into the discussion, and I don't know if it's changing your settings, but when I do it, it always changes off my my spaces and my lines.
Oh, okay, I will check, because looks for me it was everything was okay. I like double check this because it's disappeared 3 times. My answer is disappearing.
Yeah, so maybe that way, if it's doing that, Natalia, just do it on a document, and at worst, just email it to me and I'll upload it for you.
Yeah, Professor, my question is, I cannot find comprehensive problem on my textbook. So
okay. I noticed that because I went to the publisher and got my ebook, but I also got a PDF from the college, from the university, and they gave me, and I noticed that the pages don't align. So, do you have the ebook or do you have the
in the yearbook? It has on the same page we have for the first. I can show. It looks like I can post it here. How it looks.
Yeah. So, just if you cannot find it, that's interesting, because if it's like 3A, you know, it's chapter 3, question 3A.
Yeah, I can find the first questions, but
Okay,
for
it's
the
the comprehensive
comprehensive problem, I cannot find it.
Okay, well, let me tell you.
Professor, so we need to do discussion questions this week?
Yes, well, every week is a discussion question. So if you go through your syllabus, even though they put the lesson here, so you want to be reading, for example, we're in week 2. So let's just focus on week 2, you guys. I'll come back and figure out week 1. Okay, so this week we're going through chapter 3. Then here's your exercises. I will probably figure out what the comprehensive problem is. If I can do a screenshot, I'll post it in the forum. Now, I heard that not everyone goes to the forum to look. I did post one. Did everyone see my post?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's just you and Natalia. So I have one. And
Maybe I'm sorry for interrupting. Maybe it's a problem that it's going to the spam when you post. For me, exactly when I post something to discussion question, and when you post something in the news, it goes to spam.
oh, well, check your profile settings so that when there is a post, it notifies you. But I've been told that because not all students post that, I am to send an email to everyone in blind copy. So I'm trying to acquire all those emails and probably set up an email for the class for the next 8 weeks. And so if I do post something on the forum, I'll also email it out to you. I think that would be, but usually I don't have too much announcements for the time being. I know week 1 was kind of rough with all the access, but I will work on week 2, and I will work on posting the comprehension problem. And we'll just come back and clean up with 1. So some of you have not taken the quiz. I will extend that. But if you could do quiz 2, just stay on track. Here's the thing I find is that when you stay as much as you can, stay on track with the class, it's so much easier than being behind and trying to catch up, especially when you have other classes too. So I'm hoping that that doesn't be the case for you. So I'm not too worried about week 1. Let's just move on to week 2, okay? So I want to make sure that week 2, the lesson is chapter 3, double entry accounting. And then you're going to read chapter 4 as well. So I'm going to go over briefly about those 2 chapters, but the technical detail is in your chapter in order for you to finish your assignments. But we'll talk about it through the PowerPoint, a little bit of more understanding of why this is done. Sometimes it's just done. There's not even a reason why. It's just needed because it impacts all the other activity that happens in record keeping. Okay. So, and then if you have any questions, just go ahead and email me on that. So, okay, so this is week 2 information here. So let me go ahead and stop sharing. I want to. Okay. All right. Let's talk about double entry accounting. Actually, before I do that, I'm just going to do a quick review on chapter 1 real quick. Okay. I think chapter 1 of all gives you the best foundation and understanding in some of the details that you need. I shared a little bit this first hour on how it applies to real thinking and how businesses operate. Now, you don't have to have a business in order to do your financial statements. You can have a personal financial statement and treat your income as a revenue that's coming in. Let me ask a question here. Has anybody read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
I started it, but I couldn't finish it.
Why?
I don't know why, but I think I started it before moving to US. After moving to US, I forgot about it, and I started my classes and everything.
Yeah. So the thought about Robert Kiyosaki, the author, he's been around for a long time, you guys, and he's not one of my favorite, but his ideas I understand. But one thing that he had that I've been doing a lot of is he comes with a board game. I've hosted that board game. It's called the Rat Race for probably the last, I don't know, 15 years. I've had the game maybe 20 years. It's an expensive game, but that game allows you to create a look through the lens of a financial statement of each individual career. And you get to, when you play, you are the pilot, or you are the doctor, or you are the taxi cab driver. So it has a list of income, expenses, debt. And when you play it, you leave with a sense of understanding how to read a financial statement for yourself as a personal. So what I'm saying is that although we refer to a lot of the principles of accounting as a business, you can also do it personally. We refer to the business because it's most applicable. It's required when you do your taxes so that you report, because your record keeping, when the government comes in and want to audit, they're going to ask for those. So that's the rule of thumb, is that you have to have that type of accounting. And we refer to that a business is because they have the most transactions coming in and going out, right? But as I stated, you can do it for your own personal and see where you stand. His game is, I hope that I have an opportunity to host it for you guys to actually play it on campus. And it's really eye-opening to see. What I like to do when I host that is I'm always watching. I like to assess how people's reaction is, how they make decisions, and what tolerance level they have for risk. So I enjoy hosting it because I get to see through the lens of that. And anyway, I wanted to share that because if you haven't read it, it's a good book. You could read it, but it has a lot of principles that are very foundational in accounting. His philosophy is minimize your expense to almost zero. Whatever you make, you keep, and you can invest that. And his push is for passive income. Okay, passive income is when income comes in, when you set it up like rentals, or when you get a recurring income where you not necessarily have to, I don't want to say that you don't have to work, because like I said, there's no easy money. Everything takes work. But passive income is usually income that comes in without the operation that's happening. So like rentals, businesses that you get dividends or distributions from, that you just maybe oversee, but you don't actually have to work in the business. So he's a proponent, a proponent of that. Okay. So you can talk, if you have any questions on that, you can ask me. But I wanted to just go through chapter 1 really quick on what I feel is important for you to take out of, okay? Understanding the income statement and how the equity changes on the language of numbers, on a balance sheet, on a cash flow statement. And it takes a understanding and application for you to really appreciate some of these statements. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of numbers and you look at it and say, okay, is this higher than this number? So you're doing a compare and contrast with it. But the appreciation of understanding a lot of these statements is when you actually have to make a decision. And your decision may be rational based on experience, based on your gut emotion. But in actuality, to be able to make decisions on data eliminates a lot of speculation, right? Especially for people that are not attached to the business, like investors. So an appreciation for these statements is really what I want to change in your view or your lenses, is because how you value these statements is how you will operate your business. If you don't see the value of this, you will be sloppy in your business. And I'm telling you, the painful reality of needing this is when you have a big project and you need to acquire resources, like get money, get capital. When you have to present to your investors, when you have to present to the bank why they should lend to you, why your business is less risk. So I don't want you to get there. Good practice, good, let's say, good habit is to keep it clean, document. Nothing's worse than going backtrack to explain expenses that you don't even remember what that was for. Then you have to make it up, right? So, so learn to appreciate these statements. Just because a business showing a loss, that doesn't mean that they're losing, that they're not profitable. You have to understand the type of business they are. If you're manufacturing, a lot of times you're sending out a lot of your product, a lot of cash is going out. The cash burn rate is high for you. But then when you start to collect, that's when you want. So understanding when you're reading that if your business is seasonal or not, is there are cycles or not, right? So reading it only doesn't always yield you the best data. Let me see here. What else I think that's all that I wanted to say about that. The book talks a lot about how accounting works in society. I think that they did a good job in that. You had any thoughts to how you see that in society? Anybody have a comment on how accounting impacts society? Any ideas? I know the US right now is going through a lot right now about the accounting. When you're sending money overseas, when you're investing things. I know that I think LA was just one right now where the state had X amount of dollars to spend regarding the homelessness and some other issues, I think. And they can't get an account of what it was spent or the result that they wanted. They did not achieve the result they wanted, yet there was not an accounting of the funds. So as much as it relates to your business, it's so important to also understand how our government tracks funds. I know that in the last few years, there's some changes in how funds are tracked or how we label things, and that's really interesting in the policies that are made. Sometimes it's a good policy with unintentional consequences, okay? And there's been in the history of how those policies, especially during the 2008, 2010, how some of those policies has come out of that. And now we see how that trailing effect of policies changes the positioning of cash for companies and corporations. So that's an example of that in your personal life is, let's just say, oh, I have an example. When you make a change, so this relates to a bigger sense of policy for government, but I'll give you an example. I used to support a leasing manager. She was in charge of an apartment building. It was a luxury apartment building, which means that it was in a nice area. It was higher costs than a typical apartment in the city. But her owner wanted to show that her building was doing better than what it was. So she asked me to come in and ask me, hey, I just reallocated some expenses. I'm doing my next year's budgeting. Can you look at it for me? And I said, sure. I love to do that. So I looked at it. And so what I saw in her mind, let's just say that when she made certain of these decisions, an example is like a policy. In order for her to cut expenses to show that the building was profiting more, she did cuts. When I saw the cuts, I said, you cannot cut these because it will create a liability. So what is it that she was cutting? She was having certain maintenance, and she was turning off some of the lights So she's trying to save electricity bill, right? But some things, some policies, some things you cut is not an option. Whenever it comes to the health and safety of people, you cannot cut those. So what she did is that after a certain hour, the security that usually come around and the lighting that they usually have out in the parking lot, she was going to cut those out, like, turn them off. That's just a really simple example of trying to make better your bottom line better by cutting things. Look, if you cut those, you create a bigger liability. Someone could trip and fall. It could be a crime. Someone can get hurt. I mean, that's not where you would cut. Does that make sense? So I explain that because even when we're listening to our news or to our government, we have to be able to discern that. You have to be able to understand that language and say, okay, so you can follow the footprints of how it could impact. And that's important. Okay, so that's all I want to say about chapter 1 when it comes to society. The book didn't really go into that part, but I felt it was important for you to understand that. Okay, so let me see here. I think I stopped my share. You guys can't see my screen right now, right? Because I stopped it.
Not.
Okay.
You're not started.
Yeah. Let me just check. I'm looking at my poll. So my question is, when is it a good time to start a business? And my question is, when you have an idea or when you have money? So I got 10 votes, but I see more. I see more of you here, so I know that not everyone has. This is not necessarily a right or wrong answer, so you shouldn't, be too concerned about getting it right. It's like the chicken or the egg and how the execution of that doesn't really matter in which area. Most people would say an idea, but I can tell you that in some businesses, for example, Sony, the company Sony, were two friends that started the business. They wanted to do business together. They didn't know what they were going to do or sell. So the company went through a lot of different product types. I think that at one point they sold miso, they had clothing. Sony didn't start out as selling electronics that we know of the Sony now. Now they're even in production as far as movies and stuff, right? So you don't necessarily have to start with an idea, but you have a trajectory or you have a vision or a plan. Ideas are a dime a dozen. Sometimes your vision carries your business or what type of business it creates from your vision. Okay, that's important to know. And when you have money, very, very solid answer about the money, but money doesn't necessarily start. Like I said, finding ways for you to start at a lower risk, minimal, is the best way. There are different trends right now that I see that I think is great. Lower risk with high exposure. And that's all the different types of social medias that you see where you could get more bang for your buck on exposure. And sometimes that's just part of the business model that you choose, which is you can do pre-orders before you actually make an order, right? It's like having a concept and being able to present for people to buy in. You can do a pre-order, let's just say, before you even have the money to start that, okay? So a lot of Shark Tank presentations do that where there is an idea where they're coming out to seek money, okay? So I wanted to just share that with you, leaving the poll. I'll go ahead and end the poll. So it just clears that out my screen because it's like I can't see anything else without closing that. Any thoughts of what we talked about so far? Right. Well, let's talk about Double entry. Double entry is just understanding a cause and effect. Okay, let me share this here. Let me know. Can you see the PowerPoint?
No, me.
No.
No,
Yes.
no, we can see us.
All right. Well, I don't think you need to see you. Let me see. This is a tab. I'm used to Zoom and Teams. I am trying to learn how to.
You shared the screen, but it wasn't the
Really?
PowerPoint. It was our classroom. So
Yeah, I know because it's a document. The when I download it, it's just a PowerPoint document. So I think I'm gonna share the entire screen. Yeah,
all right.
it works. Yeah. Okay.
Now,
But then,
yes.
yeah, you can see, but then I can't see you, so I'm talking blind. Okay, so just know I cannot see you.
Yeah, we're here.
It didn't scare you guys away yet? All right, you guys. Look, you will get more information in your textbook because they go into very detailed explanation. I will try to talk you through it and what I see and how it really happens in the world. Okay, so the foundation part is the debit and credit. We know that when we spend money, right, then we're deducting that out of our wallet, right? So that's just as easy as that. Sometimes it's tricky though, because identifying what the transaction is not always quite easy. And then when you add terminology to it, it makes you kind of sometimes have to think backwards a little bit, but it's okay. It's more of a usability. Like right now, just with trying to utilize Moodle, utilize this Google Meet thing, I feel a little bit uncomfortable because this is my second time coming on. But I know I can learn it because foundationally, every platform has the same thing, has a screen share. I can see my students. So this is the same thing when you have a transaction coming in, when you have to make a decision. What is this? Is this a liability? Is this an equity? Sometimes the equity confuses even me. When I read financial statements from different businesses, the first maybe hour of reading a file, I'm just trying to understand the business. I'm not even making a decision. And as I understand the business, then I go into the numbers. Some of my peers, when they get a file, they go straight to the numbers. And they want to see how he's doing. Is it profitable? Are they short in cash flow? They go straight there. And then they go to read about the business and discover the business. I myself am not that person. I like to understand the business, what you're doing, how did you start, because it gives me a sense of understanding, because numbers have to have a story behind it. And I'm going to tell you that the more you're able to tell a story, the better your numbers come out to people. They have a connection. They have an understanding of how your business works. Because if you just throw them a bunch of numbers, they don't necessarily understand your business, and you do. So you have to create the story. I give my businesses, when I'm reviewing, the benefit of the doubt, understanding the business. But I myself, the reader, also has to understand the industry. I don't have to be an expert in that industry. I just need to know the industry. I'm going to ask my class, you guys, what industry is booming right now?
Technology.
Yeah,
Cryptocurrency,
Okay.
like finance.
Telecom, IT,
What's that? What is that one? What was
telecommunications, and IT.
Vision ID?
Sorry, IT.
I'm
Yeah.
like, what business are you in? Yeah, I mean, see, you guys know, we have to be you're business students. I have a higher expectation from you to know what's going on in the world. It's not just, oh, what's going on in my country, but what's going on in the world, because through technology, it's flattened the barriers of country to country. Like, it's kind of like a melting pot, right? I mean, you can do business across the world, vice versa. So we say that it's so globalized. So what happens in China does matter to the US. What happens in Canada, what happens in US does matter to Canada, because we're all kind of like tied to the hip, right? And so when you have that sense of awareness, and then you open up a file, or when you want to do your own business, you have this other sense. I want to say it's like the sixth sense of an understanding. So when I go into this debit and credit terminology and going this, I have so much more I wanted to tell you to better equip you than just to understand that this this equation of assets equals liabilities plus equity. I mean, what does that mean? It's like a foreign language, really. But when you paint the story over it, it's like the storyline. Okay. So it makes it more exciting. I mean, this is why with every file I pick up, it's like a new adventure for me. Wow. They're making good money on something so simple. So rules, debits increase asset accounts, credit decreases. Okay. So if you pretty much spend $1, then you got $1 less, right? Let's go through that here. Let me just go through what's important here. Okay, here's what's a brokerage service. So I'm looking at here. Movement of money, cash. They have a debit, so money moved over to the common stock. Let's see here. There was a, so in the book, your book does do a good job about explaining how the movements, so how each adjustment, not all textbooks will go in detail as adjustment 3, adjustment 4. So if I haven't told you, I think I did tell you the first week, when you're reading your textbook, have your PowerPoint with you. Okay, use your PowerPoint and your textbook synonymously so that you could see the explanation. I wanted to view here, okay? This is a good start where when asset increases, the credits decrease. Okay. So if I want to buy a house, I have to use money in my pocket or bank, let's just say the resources that you have, the cash that you have, whether we call it cash, whether it's credit card or whether it's, the cash dollars. It's just saying that is going to decrease in order for you to increase your assets. But the thing about this with an asset is that assumes that you paid off the asset, which is why the liability next to it, you have a liability. What if you got only paid off half and you got a loan for the other half? Now you created another transaction of a liability, right? So understand what the right hand does impact the left hand. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, let's look at this. This is a brokerage service. So first of all, a brokerage service, it didn't give us information. I'm assuming that this is a fee service, meaning they provide services, not a product. So they started out with the cash. Accounts receivable, they just receive, not necessarily collect. You, I think in chapter 2, you talked about accruals, cash or accruals. At least here in the US, when you file your taxes or when you pick a category for your business, you have a choice of cash or accruals, depending on your type of business. For example, my food business that I had, well, I had different types of business, but I'm talking about my food business. I picked cash. Why did I pick cash over accrual? Because typically a business like a restaurant or a food truck, the transaction is immediate. It's transactional. As soon as I give you a product, you're going to pay me. I'm not billing you. When there's some type of delay in how you pull in the cash, then you can elect for an accrual, because for construction companies, when they do a project, they don't necessarily get all of that money up front. And you as a client wouldn't want to give them all the money, right? You're going to give them based on incremental progress, based on how much work they've done. And how that company records that transaction matters. Because what if it went from, you started in November and you didn't finish till February? So now that transaction is going to overflow to 2 years. How will you see that? Depending on how you elect to record that makes a difference. And the reader, whoever's reading, needs to understand that. Okay. So just because it has accounts receivable, this statement doesn't really tell me if they've collected the money. Okay. Supplies, salaries. And notice that the title of this, this is a adjusted trial balance. So it's not the final. So there's going to be movement in here. So I usually don't like to, I just want to see the final. I don't like to look at the moving of this money unless I'm just reviewing a particular period. If you're looking at a particular period, then this would work for you. Okay. The balance sheet. Now the balance sheet is, it's dated. So as of December 31st, this is a snapshot of what it looks like. It's like when you pull your, do you guys understand the credit? I know that you're not all from US, but do you guys understand the credit reporting? Does your country have credit reporting?
It looks something similar, but not usually. I think that's credit. It's more common for US.
Okay. Well, when I was in finance, whenever you come and get a loan, we pull a copy of your record, which is a record of your credit history. And it's just a snapshot. That day, that particular day that I ordered that report, that's what it's showing, right? And so it's important to know, and because I know this, I always consult my clients in how the credit impacts you. A lot of times people determine their behavior on what their score is, but there's really a lot more to your score, is the activity and understanding when your credit company reports it. So when I pull it as of today, January 14th, I'll pull it. That just tells me that day. It's not going to tell me tomorrow. And we're going to base your loan on that. It's really interesting that when you understand that, you can technically time things and plan things. anytime you want to buy something, like, oh, I'm going to go to the mall. Oh, I saw something I want to buy that I didn't plan. And so I'm just going to buy it and I'm going to apply for a loan for it. Usually I feel like that is an unplanned event. If you can afford it, if you don't have anything else going on, maybe that's what you could do. But a better way to do this with anything is understanding what debt you have. And if the lender is going to pull your credit, you need to understand what happened in your life that will determine that score. Okay. I know what I just said probably made no sense. So let me give you a scenario. We just had New Year's. Okay. So most people for New Year's, they have a decision on what they're going to do, a New Year's resolution. This is what I'm going to do for 2025. I want to get a house. I'm going to get a new job, So they make these plans. When I was in active lending, it never fails. I get people that come in about January, February. We want to buy a house. And we found one. Oh, so you found one before you talked to the bank. Okay. So they'll apply for a loan. At least for my clients, before they apply for a loan, I would ask them, tell me about your Christmas. Oh, we went on a trip. We had family come, So I asked them that, but really what I want to know is, how was your spending in the last 3 months in Christmas? So you just took on a trip, you had family come. Did you pay this all cash or did you use your credit card, right? The reason why I ask that is I'm going to set up my client for success. If I don't ask the questions, when I pull their credit, they're probably not going to see a very high score. So that means I'm going to give them a higher rate when they borrow. Okay. So for me to ask those questions, it sounds like I'm being nosy, but in actuality, training them that, hey, some of these big purchases you need to plan out, because when couples come in and want to buy a house because they just got married, what happens with their finances when they just got married? A lot of expenses. They just paid for a wedding. They just came on a honeymoon. They just maybe took some PTO time, vacation time, right? So there are timelines in a client's life that is not the most ideal when you go out and get a loan. Because when you pull it, there's so much activity going on. So the smarter way to do such kind of things is to be able to plan out, okay, this year, if we want to buy a house in January, we're not going to have a big Christmas, or we're going to spend a lot of cash things, or whatever it is that you do. Because the more that you scan that card, the more balances that's going to track. When I pull that credit, it's going to show a lot of balance, a high balance, which lowers your score, which in turn we base your interest rate off of those scores, right? Does that make sense? Does anybody already know this? Because if you already know it, I don't really need to tell you, but it's important, because not all interest rates are equal. Okay. Okay, so how does that impact the financial statement in accounting? It does matter, because in the same rule that I just explained to you applies for business. Businesses have fluctuation on how your cash flow is coming in and the type of the business, right? So year end gives you a whole trajectory of what happened the last 12 months. But year end for a lot of business, especially if you're in retail, that's when you get to track all your a higher sales. So what I'm saying is that if you're in retail business, sometimes the holidays is where you're going to make up all the money for your business in the last 8 months. So from January to August, maybe you're in just trying to make it, your cash flow is low. You're just trying to keep, you're making sales, but it's not your win for the year. And then your last 3 months of the year for Christmas is really where retailers bring themselves back into the black above the red line. Okay. You need to know that in accounting or in financial analysis so that you can follow the numbers. So as I'm reading and understanding the business, I'm already knowing how this company cash flow should look like before I look at it. Okay. And let me see here. I'm going to go in. Sorry about that. A second. Oops. Any thoughts what I said? Any questions? Guys, hello? I don't really like to be talking. I like it when we're discussing.
No, good.
About credit score, it looks like, for example, if I'm correctly understanding, in US we have people have a credit score for everything, and it looks like you can't buy something big without a credit score, but your liabilities impact on your credit score. And for example, how it will be what we need to do to because as I understand, it's a good idea to use credit card, but you need to keep a bigger percentage of your money and less liabilities, because if you have a lot of liabilities, for example, you can't buy something big. As example, for example, if you want to buy a car, if you already bought a car, your credit score become lower. And if you want to buy one more car, you can't make it because you have a lower score. How to to balance it? For example, if you know that you will be able to pay all these liabilities, but you need to buy these things right now. How to manage this? So you need to think in the future a lot, or you need to think these 3 months. Just remember that if you want to buy something big, you need to lower your expenses for 3 months and then buy, or you need to lower it for a big period of time, or pay more liabilities and then your score will higher. How to manage this, how to understand, because as I understand, you don't need to to move all your money you need to use all your money. You need to keep something in safe, but how to manage, how to understand this, what the better?
Yeah, Natalia, what you just said, in a sense, if I'm understanding what you're saying, is correct as far as understanding when and how and strategize. So I'm going to explain it to you this way, okay? If you look at through the lens of we're all in a game. It's like we're all in a game. And there are some rules in the game called life, right? And we'll just talk about the rules in the game about money, okay? So I like to use the game because there's certain rules applied to certain people, right? If you have all the money you need, then the rules don't apply for you where you have to plan, right? But I'm talking about the baseline people. Most people, we have to think of that way. And when you apply it as a game, you can think ahead. You can go research so that you get better at the game. Okay. When it's a game, I hope it's less emotional. When is the last time you guys spent something that was emotional to you? Like, oh my God, I gotta buy this car. I love the car, but it's gonna be so painful because the payment is so high. Right? To me, that's emotional. But if you take that emotional out and you plan, because if you're seeing it as a game, then hopefully it could be less painful, and you made some clear decisions. Okay, so what's the rule of the game? We're all playing it. The rules most of the time applies to this are the same, and the rule is when I need to buy something, I've already planned that out, and I already know that if I want to get the best deal, then I have to present myself in the best way for the bank to make the decision. Okay. Now I know in life sometimes things are like, oh, it's impulse, or in order to get the best experience, it's like, oh, I didn't plan it and it worked out great. But when it comes to money and lending in our financials, that is more painful when you don't plan than when you do plan. So that's your first rule, is when it comes to money, you need to plan. And if you're going to position yourself to getting the best in your best case scenario, is to look and see how your spending habits are, and you're going to change it. Because look, in life, we have to, I mean, when we make money, we have to spend money, right? This is a transactional, so your life is happening. But if you can plan on certain big purchases, like I would probably say, if you can, buy the car, buy the house before the big wedding expense. Because your financial positioning, when I pull your credit, it's going to be better before your wedding if you're spending $60,000 on credit cards. So what is important to know is that look at through the lens of strategizing. We say to get ahead or play the game. In business, it's called strategic planning. So there's always the technical term. It's, strategic planning. Oh, what's strategic planning? Well, strategically, I'm going to make a set of these decisions because it's going to be better for me. My business is doing some strategic planning because I'm planning out when I need to get debt and how I'm going to get it, and that I make sure I position myself in getting the best deal. Okay. Now, there are certain things like equipment breaks down that happen, and that's okay. At that time, you're gonna have to just go out and get some incur an expense, and you have to deal with that. But it's always better for you if you plan for that machine to be replaced in so many months. You can already position it to get the best deal. So it's really easy in life and money. But I know that credit sometimes puts a ding. So what's important to know about the credit is when your credit cards report to the bureau, usually they do that every 3 months. About every 60 to 90 days. So when you go off and you pay off your credit card today, that doesn't mean it shows up that you have a better score tomorrow, because it depends on when that credit card creditor reports you. So usually we don't want to pull your credit every month. We probably every quarter, every other. So that just plays into the world of planning. And here, when I was looking at that spreadsheet, I think I took it off. It made me think about, hang on a second, of how it plays into accounting when you're reporting some of these numbers. Okay. On the debt side, on the balance sheet, see how it says liabilities? It's just a snapshot of December 31st. Okay, so I know that's 12 months. And let's see, the salary, there's the unearned service revenue. So look at the difference between accounts payable and the unearned service revenue. Accounts payable, I'm not certain by reading this if they've collected the money. But at the bottom where it says unearned service revenue, I know they have not collected. because they just put they're letting me know that there's money coming in that they actually haven't done service for. Okay. If you listen to Warren Buffett, his favorite investments analysis that he looks at is the cash flow. For those of you that have been studying cash flow or understand the statements, can anyone kind of share with me what their thoughts on cash flow and why it's important? Why is the cash flow so important?
Because it's money that you actually have. Looks like this.
Okay. What else? Well, you said it's correct, Natalia, but I wanted a little bit more narrative.
I think cash flow is very important because you will know how your business money moves in and out.
Mhm. That's also correct. Anything else? So the reason why Warren Buffett likes to look at the cash flow, the cash flow is like the blood that pumps through your body. Right? It feeds all the other, feeds the brain, feeds your muscles, goes through your body. And if you don't have cash flow, that means that you're telling me that you can't pay your payroll today. If you go to your employees, you say, "Okay, Natalia, I can't pay you today, but we have money coming in next week. So I'm going to pay you next week, okay?"
No.
Okay. Why? Well, what does that tell you about the businesses? What it's telling you is that they don't have enough liquidity in their business to pay for things as money comes in. That's why Warren Buffett wants to see, are you cash flowing? That means that can you pay your liabilities? Can you pay the people that you owe while you wait for money, right? Money, that's why I said money needs to move all the time, just like your body is pumping your blood all the time, right? I think the only time that your blood flow stops is when you're dead. But so cash flow allows a business to exist. Okay, most of the time cash flow is important is to pay your employees. Because all the other expenses, I know you have to plan like your utilities, even your vendors that you're getting products from. Sometimes they'll give you 30 days, or if you're late, you pay a fee, but you got to pay your employees. So a lot of times companies will allocate out funds for payroll only. Okay. Well, they'll get money from the bank. We call it a line of credit. A line of credit is as you use it, you pay it off. So it's kind of like a relay. I'm gonna pull money from this pot, this line of credit, to pay for my employee because I need to pay my employees today. So I'm gonna pull from there because next week I'm going to get a big payment. So when people do not have the access to do that, the cash flow shows it. That means that you're not able to pay your obligation you have this month. And setting your business up in a way where line of credit. So the cash flow tells you very clearly, can you support your flow? It is the most important thing about a business. There are some remedies that you could do to help you with that is a line of credit from a bank. Usually you have to pay interest on it, but sometimes it's just the name of the game. Okay. We want to see that you have good cash flow because equipment breaks down, a holiday, a pandemic. What? So a lot of the businesses that got resources to help from the government, is for their cash flow. They needed to pay their employees. Understanding the cash flow when you're doing business analysis is probably more important than the overall business profitability. Because if you can't keep, if you don't pay your rent this month, then technically you're not flowing. But that doesn't mean whether that means that doesn't mean whether you're profitable or not through the cash flow. Typically, if you have good cash flow, the better chances that you are making money. Okay, unless you know that money you're flowing through is debt, because you still have to pay off your debt. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Any questions on that? Any thoughts? I had a student read an article yesterday. It's the popular buy now, pay later. Have you guys been seeing it? Have you been offered that? I see it on Amazon all the time. Like, they'll always have an
Yes,
offer,
Professor.
buy now, pay later. What are you guys' thoughts about that? Relating to cash flow. The buy now, pay later.
Not a good one because it's impact on your liabilities. Because usually it's a marketing program, and when people offer you something like this, you just, oh, I can buy it. It's like quick buying. I don't remember how it's called, but you haven't enough time for this decision. You just, oh, it's a good value of money, and you just spend.
Yeah.
And the next time you understand that you have a higher liabilities than previously, but you already bought it.
Yeah.
It looks like it's not a good idea, but it works because people don't think about the future. They just want to buy it right now because it's a good promotion.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I think it can trigger my impulsive decision.
Hey, that's good cash flow. Well, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to propose to you this. Push back, argue back. I don't know what you want. But that buy now, pay later, behavior-wise or responsibility-wise, is that, hey, if you don't have the money now, maybe you shouldn't buy it, right? But it's actually a positive thing regards to cash flow. Why? Because you have to buy something that you don't have $1,000 today, but then you only have to pay $100 today, right? It's going to open up your cash flow. The problem that you have in this decision is that when it's time to pay, you push it back again. So in the long term, you end up more debt. And with debt, you still have to pay it back, right? It's still an obligation. But the option to buy now, pay later is not a bad thing. Remember what I was talking about to you about strategic planning? Sometimes, or that poll that I just asked you, that you don't necessarily have to have the money to start, because then you can find different ways that open up that cash flow for you. So in a strategic planning decision making, or we can say in a cash flow sense, it's a good option. It's a good option to buy now, pay later. Hence the word pay later doesn't mean that I'm going to owe you more later, right? So I'll give you an example how to apply that thought. When you have an equipment, let's say you want to add an equipment to your business, and by buying that equipment, you actually produce more and save more time, right? So if you can substantially justify the debt and double your volume, cut half the time, that's an efficiency that will help you in the long term, help your balance sheet and all your financial, it helps the business. Or if you have back orders, it's going to help you bring in more revenue quicker, right? But here's this one decision that you have to make. You have to take a debt, because let's say the the equipment's $100,000. And your cash flow statement doesn't show, you don't have $100,000 because every month you're making maybe $10,000, right? So the question is, do I save 10 months and pay off the equipment, or do I take a loan out today so that I can, let's just say that $10,000, you pay $10,000 to the bank. It's going to cost you more. So $100,000, let's just say it's going to cost you $110,000 because of the interest that you have to pay. So we call that the opportunity cost. It's that $10,000 more, but you get it now. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Why? Why will you take it?
Because if I need that equipment right now, and yeah, it will help my business. It will be more profitable to me today if I use it, and the money that I spent today, the value of it is much lesser in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But remember that equipment, Christian, it has a depreciation. Remember, you bought it new. It's like a car. The minute you drive it off the lot, you can have a depreciation, right?
Yeah, but but it's part of the business. When you if you need an equipment, make sure that you'll use it in long term. So the value of the equipment is uh, it's like a return of investment. Like
Mhm.
you were able to use it in the same value of that equipment.
So it's justifiable,
Yeah.
right? You can justify the cost. 100% you can. Then that's a good decision to make to move forward, right? It's better than waiting for 10 months. Why? Because maybe you have back orders right now. If it can save you more efficiently, more time here today, now, in the next month, it's better than waiting, promising your employees that in 10 months it's going to get better, right? So in certain cases, the buy now, pay later, or opening up a cash flow makes sense. All right. I had an example I was going to bring up, but I can't remember what that was. I'll move on. Let's see. I mean, I know it's accounting. I'm talking about accounting, but I'm really teaching you doing financial analysis. And I think that that is a skill that comes out of understanding accounting. Okay. Let's see, okay. Me through. Okay, so chapter 3 also introduced you to the T account. So that when you're observing, using the different columns of the pulses and the pluses and the minuses of how money's increasing and decreasing, so that you can manage the number of transactions that it's increasing. So it does introduce you the T account. It means that it's simplifying the recording of the events. So you can look at it as a T, and the T, when you're writing it, it's just a visual way of seeing how the left side impacts the right side. When you do this, it helps you to understand that the liabilities are on one side and the credits and assets on the other side. It's really a tool that I still see some of my peers use sometimes when they are trying to figure out what transaction this is going through. They kind of draw it out. And so it helps you just follow the flow of money, because sometimes when you're just looking at reporting, there's just too much. But in actuality, on the normal sense, you don't really need to have that detail. It's really the role of a bookkeeper or Even an accountant has a bookkeeper. They're not really trying to figure out that transaction. With today, the technology that they have today, there are predictors in the applications where when we download everything, let's just say if your business uses your point of sale, the point of sale machine, which means that, when you come in and you scan, whether it be a Clover or a Square, all that data is already pre-categorized. So when they download into a software, it predicts what it is already. And for the most part, it is correct. Even the accountant, the bookkeeper, doesn't necessarily know what that is. So you as the owner have to be able to review those reports and know whether it is an income or not. Again, anytime we go out of our norm, there has to be an adjustment. What do I mean? So let's just say that your POS system always collect income, but there's this one transaction that you took in that you made an exception for that really wasn't an income. It was an expense, but it showed in as an income. And that could be because you got a credit from a store and it wasn't income, but you didn't adjust it. We see that a lot. We see companies that have financials that for the returns, it gets really confusing. So whatever it's retail, I always have to ask them, okay, you collected all this revenue, but what about your returns, right? Then if you didn't balance that out, you will have higher income than your intake was. So again, understanding the type of business you are impacts in how you report into your financials. Okay. I see here. I think it would work best is as you're going through your analysis on your chapter discussion equations, bring it into class as you're doing it. I think that's always good to have a narrative and understanding on your thought process. Like when you did your work in chapter 1, if there was any questions or how certain things are characterized. In this class, when we discuss, we'll always discuss the principle of understanding what the norm is. That may not necessarily be what the business is, but we need to have a baseline understanding for the general, what we call a general understanding of what that is. It's really dependent on you as the owner or you as a financial analyst to really ask those questions and see what's different. But as far as in this class, because we're just learning the baseline, we'll always take the general approach versus the specific approach to that business. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so it's 11:40. It's past the hour. I have that is all that I have to go over with you today on the chapters. The chapters, when I read it, it has a lot more detail to spend the time with. I'm going to spend the rest of the time trying to figure out what we're going to do for week 1. I will excuse you from class unless you have anything else you wanted to add to what we discussed today or questions. Let's see here.
Ma'am, did you take a screenshot of attendance individually?
Well, I took a screenshot when we took a Al, right? Al, you just asked me that question?
Yeah, you're correct.
Okay, you are normally a video conference or you're normally a hybrid?
I couldn't get you. Could you please repeat?
Because, well, I can see. So the class is divided into A and B cohorts, right? So it swaps over. But I think for today, everybody is online because you didn't have to come into campus. That's the last email that I saw, is that any classes didn't have to come out because of the just the circumstances in LA right now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to determine if normally you are hybrid or are you in on conference.
For me, conference usually online. Don't need to go to
You
classroom
understand, right?
for.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's for the most part is for your attendance. That helps me a lot knowing if you normally online or you normally a hybrid. I think I'm more concerned about my hybrid that needs to be on campus. Usually the online ones, I can get a record or I take a picture of who's on right now. So for example, right now I show 23. So if you were here, right, when when we had the break, I already took your attendance. Okay. So
I have a question. Maybe you know. I will try to represent my screen because just. Oh no, I can't do it
are you
because
screen
tonight. Just maybe I will.
Professor,
Oh, now
sorry, go.
I can share
this.
this.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you know. Here, like it's our. Just a second. It's our predictor course. It's like showing the attendance, and maybe you know because it looks like attendance by course. When you go to this website, when we want to check our attendance, it looks like we need someone or I don't know who, because I can't need to tick like we presenting, but it's like every day of the week, I don't know, and it was for previous time as well. Maybe you know who should like make it like attending, because it looks like we need to attend every day, but we have classes only one day per week.
No, I think that the office adjusts that, Natalia, so you don't have to worry. So let me do this. I have my roster up. Okay, I am not fear of reading financial analysis, but I am in fear of reading your names, okay? That is I'm telling you right now, if I chop up your name, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna I'm gonna take attendance right now of the ones that I do need to take attendance right today. So let me go ahead and log in. Oh, let me see here. You don't see my screen anymore, right? I stopped sharing. Okay. Let me go ahead and okay, I'm gonna take roll. You can tell me your attendance here. Actually, okay. So first one is Anjali. Anjali, are you here?
Yes, Professor, I'm here.
Thank you so much. And what's it not letting me? Oh, okay. Wrong date. Okay, her Harkiran Kar. And then I have another Harmon Preet. Let me see. Maybe I can. Okay, I see Harmon Preet. I see you. So I think I can take this without you guys here because I see all the names here. I only have 26.
Here, ma'am, Harmanpreet Kaur.
Yes.
Sorry.
No worries. Okay. And how about Harkiran? I have Jasmine. Jasmine, are you here?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I have Jatin. I think I just saw his name.
Present, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, if I call your name, you can be excused, okay? You can log off
Okay.
if I call your name. Satyam? Yogesh? Yogesh, I saw you. So I marked you. You know what? Why can't I? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to share the screen, okay? If you see your name on this screen, help me. So I'm going to share you my screen. Maybe this is a better practice. Okay, can you guys see it?
No, Professor.
No,
Yes.
Professor.
Not.
Okay, I heard yes and no.
No, we can see it. We
Okay. 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 So did Harkin, did you just answer me? Is she here? Okay, if I don't hear you, how about Satyam? Okay, call out your name if you are here so that I can mark you.
Santiago here.
Santiago. Okay, heard
Yeah.
Santiago.
Yeah.
Sophie, I saw
Sorry.
you early. Okay, Santiago.
Yes, I'm here.
Is that Sophie?
Yes.
Sophie, I just marked you so you can go ahead and be excused. Santiago, you're excused.
Thank you. Oh, I have a question. Sorry.
Who's that?
Santiago.
Okay, go ahead, Santiago.
Yeah. So for last week, yeah, I saw I got like absence. I was not able like to connect because I don't have like the login and everything. I don't know if
So you didn't log in?
no, last week no.
Okay. Can you send me an email? I'll work with
Okay.
the academic office.
Will do. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, Fatima.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Thank you, Fatima. Have a good week.
Ma'am, Rabiul Hussain.
Hassan.
Did you call my name, Professor?
What is your name?
Semi.
Seven? Vincent?
Semi.
Okay, spell it for me. It sounds like
Semih.
Hemih. You'd think that this would be alphabetical order for me, but it's not. Okay, let me start from the top.
Semih.
You're not even on here. Are you normally a video conference?
For ACC 100, yeah.
Okay, but yeah, you normally log in, right? You don't go into the office? You don't go to campus?
It's only video conference for me for
Okay,
this class.
yeah. Okay, so you're good. I don't have to take your attendance.
Okay.
All right.
Ma'am, Rabiul Hussain. Have you got that?
Can you spell that for me?
Rabiul.
Have a great day, Professor. Bye.
Who is that? Okay,
that was Sammy. That was Sammy.
Sammy. Okay, Rabul, that's just you, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Have a good day.
And
See you next
Professor,
week.
my attendance, Yadvir Singh.
Singh?
Yadvir Singh.
Hi, ma'am. Did you mark my attendance? I'm Harmanpreet Kaur. Can you confirm?
This one. Yes, I did.
HARMANPREET.
I did. Have a good week.
Thank you.
And also Omar, ma'am. I'm here. OMER.
Hi,
Omar,
Professor.
thank you, Omar.
Yeah,
Have a
mere
good day.
lagi.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a good
Hi,
day.
Professor. This is Gurpreet Singh. Did you call my name?
I think so. Let me see. Interesting. You know, guys, I've done harder things. This should be really easy, but why is it so hard for me? Okay.
Okay, ma'am, it's Simon. I just text you. Is it okay?
Okay. You
Okay.
just text me?
Yeah, I text you.
Okay.
Professor, I'm online
Professor.
student. Yadvir Singh. You mark my attendance?
Well, if you're online, I don't have to mark anything. This is
Hi,
just
Professor. Is that be fine if I text you just like last week about my attendance?
Satulan. Yeah, that's well, if you're on this list, but you're not on this list, so you're online, so you're good.
No, I'm not online. I'm a hybrid student.
You are?
Yeah, it's Mir, MIR.
Okay, I don't see you on here. Look.
Hi, Professor. This
Supposed
is
to be.
Gurpreet Singh. Did you mark my attendance?
Gurpreet Singh, right? Gurpreet Singh. This one, right? Gurpreet?
Yeah.
Okay, you're good. Have a good day.
Okay.
Professor Shahidin
Thank you.
Abdullah.
Have a good day.
Adin Abdullah. Okay,
Professor Sumaya Islam.
Sumaya. Oh, here you go, Sulam. Sumaya, have a good day.
Yeah, ma'am. You too, ma'am.
Professor,
Thank
you
you.
mark my attendance. Shahidin Abdullah.
I can't find you right here.
It's SHAHDEEN.
Did you see it? I don't see it. Shirkan? This one?
SHAHDEEN. Shahidin Abdullah.
Prof, we see your screen.
Can you see my screen? I'm sharing
No,
my screen.
No, Professor, we
No,
cannot see
Professor.
you.
can see it. We cannot.
No? Okay,
Yeah.
let me do it again. I was wondering why you're not helping me because I was sharing the screen. Okay, tell me now if you can see. Is this better?
Oh, yeah, yes, Professor.
Okay, so look, okay, if you have a green check, I've already marked you.
Yeah,
So
I saw my name.
you did? This one, Abdullah, right? Yay, Shadeen.
Yes,
Professor,
Professor.
I haven't got mine. I couldn't see my name.
Okay, so I got Shadeen, right? Shadeen, you're excused?
Yes, Professor.
Okay,
This one.
who's the other one? Who am I looking
Mir, MIR.
MIR. Oh, yeah, I didn't see your name. Oops, hang on a second. Oh, crap. It didn't save. Okay, okay, let me. Mir, I didn't see you on this list, so I think you're on virtual conference.
No, Professor, it's my hybrid course, as far as I know.
I think I did. Oh, I didn't see. Did Satyam come in? Yes, I have him. Omar, I got Omar. I had Sophie. Simon came in, right, you guys?
Yes, Professor, he was there.
Yes, Bella.
Professor, I'm the Sajid. It's over there.
Right here? All
Yes.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you for having your picture on there too. Okay.
I'm Yogesh, hybrid student.
Yogesh. Yes, I think I marked you, Yogesh. Hadid Hassan, I think he was here.
Yes, Professor, that's me.
What?
Hello, Professor. I'm
With
Suhani.
the
I'm present
long
here.
name, Mir MD.
Where? Oh, this one.
Yeah, Professor.
Oh,
That one.
yes. Thank you.
Thank you so
Fatima
much.
was here. I think I heard Fatima.
Have
Yeah.
a great week, Professor. Bye.
Thank you. I'm so sorry why this is hard. I
No
promise I
problem,
get
Professor.
better.
You're good.
Santiago was here.
Hello, Professor. I'm Suhani. I'm present here. I'm hybrid student.
Suhania. This one, right?
Yeah, Suhani Kraj. Yeah, thank you, Professor.
Yeah,
Let
so
me just
Professor,
save this real quick. I'm going to save it real
uh-huh.
quick because that's how I lost it the last time. Let me save it and then I'm going to go back and take whoever. Okay, so. Okay. Who else?
Yeah, so Professor, this is Harkiran, and I'm attending from Suhani's phone because mine it's not working. So we are roommates. So yeah, that's why we are attending from the same phone. Harkiran.
And what is your name?
Harkiran. HARKIRAN.
Did you say your name on the list?
No, not yet.
I saw it in the top, Professor, in the top.
On the top?
Yeah.
This one? Srikan? No?
Yeah, this one. Right, the professor. The girl with the white shirt. Yeah, I'm marked attendant.
This one. Oh, I already marked you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Professor.
You're welcome. Okay, so Satyam, was he here? I think he's a new student, right? Yeah, I don't know. Is this Emre? Emre? Okay, Mark. Sir Khan? Let's see, who else? How many of you are here? Let's go. Christian, I didn't see you, so you're hybrid. Natalia, didn't see Natalia. Christian, Mohammed, I think he's...
I'm
Yes,
online.
I'm only online, but I will write you a message to check with you because I haven't seen that I was presented on the last week, but I was.
Yeah,
I will
that's the
send
same
you.
for me too. So, as
Professor,
for
even for me too, I didn't see my attendance for last week. I'm
just
decided.
Yeah, as
just
well.
to clarify, Professor, you don't need to log as present in our attendance profile, right?
Correct.
Oh, okay, I see.
I am only taking attendance on the hybrid people.
Okay. So all others should be done by
I only have
universities.
to, I only have to take attendance on the hybrid people, but I still want you to be in class.
The
Okay.
online, generally, the online student doesn't have attendance.
Correct.
Only like participations, maybe few.
Correct.
If you give it, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna tell the class, like,
Yeah,
if
it was a mess.
you didn't, I was gonna say, if you didn't say anything in week 2, you better be speaking in week 3. Because I mean, because you guys pay to be here. You guys,
Yeah.
right? You guys pay to be here. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear, I don't want to hear myself talk. Actually, that's the hardest thing is when I'm talking for like 4 hours. Okay, so I don't have Emery. So all of you that are on the call with me right now, I think you guys are all online.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're good to go, Prof.
You know, I was telling some of my professors that I teach at other schools, I said I had a great class, but the hardest thing about me for this last class, week 1, was your names.
I mean, if you can just tell the students to write their name, whoever on the chat, so you can just mark them with you can see the names and then mark them.
Well, if everyone is online like today, it works. But not everybody, they're in the class, right? They're in the classroom, so they can't chat like you. So I know I turned off the recording, but if I could read your name, I'm going to call you to speak, because if I can't read your name, I can't call you, right? So anyway, but hey, I appreciate you guys today speaking. It makes my teaching much more enjoyable, and I really think that you can get the best of what I know, and I can learn from you. You can learn from me, because the textbook is there for you to read anytime you want. And but I always want to talk about things that's not necessary in the textbook. Then you get best both, right? You get to read what's in there, and then you get to hear from me. But that's my goal, is just to let you know more than what the textbook is telling you. I appreciate you guys. I will see you next Tuesday.
Professor, I have a personal question, if I can ask.
Sure.
So my brother have a business. He's handling the business now. His accounting and all the data, he does it with his hand. Like every week, he sit down and do the accounting and finance, what comes in, whatever he did and whatnot. Is there any I want to ask? Is there any app which can help it to track faster, or for example, some payments, he works the service guy, so once the payment comes, it's less, for example, he did the service but the payment comes after a week or after maybe a month. So but he have to go back and check if the
Mohammed, what
payment
is that
came
called?
back.
We just talked about that in class.
Okay, all right.
What is that called when you get paid a week or a month later?
ACH, I think.
Well, no, it's the type of you are not cash, you are accrual.
As a cash flow? Oh no,
the type of reporting on the statement is called an accrual, because I think that was chapter 2, cash and accrual accounting. Because when you don't always pay, like when you go eat at a restaurant, you have to pay it right there, right?
Yeah.
At least the owner gets paid. If you put it on a credit card, you don't have to pay it, but the owner will get the money right away. That's called cash. Accrual is when you go and you fix the door, but you don't get paid for another week. So because the money will follow you. So to your question is there a way? You said that he does it by hand. He counts by
No,
hand.
it's like he have a trucking business, car hauling. So in car hauling, he will deliver a car, but mostly the customer will pay directly. But the brokers in between, they have a law that they have a rule that they will pay. It depends on the brokers. Some brokers they pay after 30 days. Some broker they pay after 2 days. Some after a week.
Like commission,
Now,
like your commission?
no commission. The actual payment. This is the rule in car business, like in hauling business. So once he delivers the car, he will just take some pictures and make a receipt. We call it BOL, like bill of lading.
Okay.
In that, he will send it to the broker, whoever give him the load or the job, and the broker will have some agreements, like you will pay him within a week or with 30 days.
Okay.
So sometimes he do the job after 30 days, he gets the payment, but he gets the notification. For example, he get the notification, but he have to go back and check which payment came and then put on the books that okay, this guy paid. So I was asking, is there any app which can follow up with the payment and automatically assign check mark that this guy paid?
I don't know if you necessarily need to be an accounting app.
Is the what you call QuickBook? Does that?
QuickBook is great for small business because you pay a small fee. QuickBook is good because they do have notifications in there for you. But
is the QuickBook, like, for example, if I attach my account in QuickBook, and the payment will come with the memo that this payment for this load ID is there, and will it automatically go and check mark that this guy paid or this load is paid?
Okay, so that's hard to answer. let me just give you a thought about data entry. Okay.
Okay.
Data entry, this is what we say: garbage in, garbage out. Which means if you put bad data in, you're not going to get good data out. So no matter what kind of app that you do, if you don't put good data in, it's going to be wrong. So with your that business you're saying, if the broker pays you, does he usually, how does he pay you? Just a deposit into your account?
Yeah, either check, an online check.
Does he lump it together, Mohammed? Does he lump
No,
it? You know,
no,
he
he
does.
does not. He does not lump it together.
Okay.
Some broker is like rare, one or two broker lump it together, and
Mhm.
they will write the order ID numbers on the email, and they will
Oh,
just send
okay.
the money. And some they send just like the load you did
Mhm.
at the moment of that load you did, from that time, 30 days or 1 week or 2 weeks.
Mhm. Okay, so let me ask you this: does he have multiple broker, or he only use one broker?
Multiple brokers in this business, like maybe
Okay.
50 brokers, yeah, and everyone have a different payment
Process.
method.
Everybody have
Yeah,
a different. Okay.
yeah.
So here's my advice: because you have multiple broker, multiple people have different ways of doing things. Is it your brother? Or
Yeah.
okay? Can your brother have a service level agreement? When before he starts working on it, he has a service level agreement. Let's just say I'm your brother and you're the broker. Okay, I'm gonna say, Mohammed, I would like to have an agreement on my service level agreement that as soon as I take pictures and deliver, I'm going to invoice you. Okay, and you
Okay.
just I'm going to invoice you, and so when you make a payment, you put the invoice number on the if they do direct deposit. I don't know how they can mark it.
Like
But
for example, if they want to pay it, for example, I make an invoice, and there will be a load ID. So once I will deliver the car, I will take a picture, and there is an app that makes up the receipt with the pictures and everything, with the load ID and everything. After the delivery, we send them we send the broker the receipt or BOL, and they will check them, and they will process the payment, and then we get the payment as their process, like maybe 1 week or 2 week or 1 month. So we will get the notification email that this guy paid for this load.
Yeah, but does the load ID on there?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can identify.
Yeah, I can identify. It's just I'm making, for example, I have to go back. Like, for example, if I did 30 loads 30 days ago, and then there's one load 31 days ago. So it likes you have to go every day back, and then check the
your deposit.
Check the deposits, if it's deposit or not, and then check it mark. So I
Yeah.
was like looking if there is anything that tracks the load ID and match it with my sheet, and then just check the mark on that.
No, that's when you hire a bookkeeper.
Okay.
Because you know how
I
they
mean,
say you gotta train your people to work with you.
yeah,
So the thing is, it's still manual.
yeah. I mean, I thought there was an app like will maybe we will go through every month and check back, but for now we have to like go every week twice or maybe once and
Yeah.
check it back, and then call the brokers and see if they paid or not and confirm, but
Because
yeah, it's easy, but it takes a lot of time.
because I know with QuickBooks, if you set up the invoice and you set your settings that it will resend the invoice every 2 weeks until it's paid.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Oh, okay.
so that's a reminder for them to pay you. But I mean, this is the elbow grease part. Some of the businesses you have to do it, and you don't want to wait too long because you don't want to find out 2 months ago that they didn't pay you, right? So
Yeah, some broker, if you don't reach to them, they won't pay. Like they have like a lot of things going on. They have like 100 deliveries or 100 drivers who are they're dealing with. So if you don't keep on it and don't message them back, they won't pay you like until you get back to them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's part of business to hire someone to keep those accurate. And I would say that if
Yeah.
your brother's doing it, how much time it's costing him to do it. And if he took that time to go out and do more cars, he'd probably make more to just hire someone. But when you hire someone, you don't necessarily have to pay them hourly. You can pay them by transaction. So,
Yeah. No, I mean
but yeah.
he manages the time. He have Saturday, Sunday, which is his off day, and he's pretty quick on it. Like at the beginning, he was taking time, but now it's pretty easy for him. Just he says that it's better if I do it every day when I come back home and just deal with it.
It is.
But
But
yeah,
it's funny. I hate doing that part. I hate doing that part of the business. Because my mind, it's just to
same.
me, it's so little.
My brother also says that.
That's why we hire someone. They do a better job. Some things we're not good at, and I know what I'm not good at. You know that when I have cash, when we used to do a cash business, we have all the cash. Oh, I hate counting them.
Yeah, I
And
mean, he told me that like we have to hire someone later because he's expanding the business. So just now he just started about a year or less than a year maybe, so he can handle the small amount. So once it get bigger, he have to hire someone. And he was like, I have to hire someone. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, like for our class, is that I want you to hire someone, but the important thing is I need you to understand how the money flows.
Yeah.
Is his business here in the U.S.?
Yeah.
Okay. Where?
In LA.
Oh,
For
okay.
example, yeah. For example, it's a towing business. So towing and hauling is different, but it's similar. So people will have cars going from auction to home, from dealership to home. So basically, he does deliver. He have a like car and trailer, truck and trailer. So he just load up the car and just deliver it to different. So his route is mostly San Diego to LA.
Does he have a parking lot or a space that he
Yeah.
parks the cars, or
Yeah, he have parking lot who he pays for it like every month, almost 600-700.
but he doesn't own it?
No, he doesn't own the parking lot.
That's and he's been doing it for a year?
Almost is going to be a year, yeah.
Okay. Well, when he's almost a year or two, or when he gets closer to 2 years, have him get his financials. My recommendation for him is the next thing to do is own the parking lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's owning the parking lot is not easy. Like, either you buy a house or, I mean, you have to have a house which has a backyard or something that you can park your trailer and truck. It's like a long trailer and truck. Parking lot is like a space which they have a big space, and they will give you your truck size of space.
Yeah, but I would imagine that you don't need prime property.
Yeah, but that's the main thing. If we are growing and increasing our drivers and trucks, then yeah, we will own a place.
Yeah, it's a natural progression to the business, right? Because right now, it's a natural progression to do it. Not necessarily that he's ready, but he should look forward. Remember how I was saying about planning? His plan should be to own it.
Yeah.
Because when it's part of the plan, when the land comes up, he can execute. But for people that don't even plan it, it's harder because you're busy in the business versus on the business. But I work like the leveraging is 10%. So if you buy a property for $500,000, you only have to come in with 50. The bank will finance the other 90%.
That's what we're gonna do. Hopefully, he will do that.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting when we can apply the things that we learn into what's really happening. It makes it more exciting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the learning part. Otherwise, why do we want to learn it if we're not going to apply it? Waste of time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, Mohammed, thank you for your question. I hope to see you next week.
Yeah. See you next week.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, guys. I don't
Have a
know.
good day.
Natalia and Christian here.
Thank
Natalia,
you. Bye.
bye, Christian. Are you needing to see me? Talk to me, guys.
Bye. Bye. No, everything's okay.
All right. You have a great day, Natalia.
You too. Bye.